Okay, let's get stuck into the first game, and we kick off on Thursday night at the Gabba with an all-Queensland affair. Shawnee, looking at the Broncos first, they got off to a rocky start last week. Discipline was a major talking point about it, but the Roosters are very unforgivable when it comes to taking advantage of those errors as well too. They lose the strike power of Julia Robinson in this one, going up against the Titans. I know you said you were very impressed with that team list.
I am impressed with that team list. I think that one to watch out for would be Mele Hufanga. She was one that we saw dominate in that Broncos game. She's a big, strong, fast centre with really good footwork. So I'm excited to see how she goes coming up against the Titans centres. Another one that did really well was Anita Nuasala. So she's had a pretty long road or journey, I'd say, into getting back onto the field. Her start last year with Broncos was delayed, so she's come out firing. I'm really looking forward to watching her come out as well. All right, well, let's look over to the Titans side as well too. We spoke about this side being a bit of a surprise packet this year. Great balance of experience and up-and-coming talent as well too. Avani Politi was everything we imagined at fullback. She didn't shock anyone in that sense. We expected it. Yep, absolutely. Shante Kiria-Ratu, she had a really good role that she played in that game that we saw the Titans play. A very young player, but I'm really excited to see how she builds in the next game. A good matchup on the other side for her as well. So I think that the Titans are going to go really well. They're going to have their strike force power again. You've got Jamie Chapman. Yep. They may have, I'm not completely sure if Talia Fuimaono is going to be out there, but they've got backups coming in that are really good for the job. And we had the debutante on the wing, the left side wing. She did a really good job. It's outstanding to see how these young players coming through who have only just kind of come onto the scene through the New South Wales and Queensland game that was only very recent, and they've filtered straight into the NRLW, and they are getting debut tries and showing up really well-known players. It's a great thing to see. Well, it's perfect. It's promising to show how much it's going to advance as the season goes on as well too. We're going to look at our next game now. It is the Raiders down in the nation's capital. It's their first home game. A lot of confidence from the 81% completion rate, but they're going to need to lift to a whole new level with the Roosters outfit, aren't they? Yep, they are. And I think Ashley Quinlan is a player that I think is really underrated and not spoken about enough. I think that she'll go really well against the Roosters. She's got great contact on her, really fast feet, and she's actually an incredible ball player. So she's got a touch footy background. I'm really looking forward to seeing her come up. Okay, we're getting the smoky dirt. Yeah, I like this. Yeah. All right, well, let's have a look at the Roosters side. Were you overly surprised with their performance last week? I mean, is there any chinks in their armour of this perfect side on paper that the Raiders can take advantage? I really can't say that I can see any at the moment. As much as it burns me. You're like, yeah, they're an incredible team. I love the way that they brought Corbin into the game. They had her coming in that one pass out, so they had kind of a two-pass play kind of thing that meant that they were really hitting the outside channels, which makes it really hard when you're moving the ball so well across the park. Corbin McGregor got over the line so easily, untouched, and one of those tries was off Maya Hilmoana, which is a number 10. That's just insane. So watching players get more confidence, playing a little bit different, ball players giving fullbacks tries. I mean, front row. The other way around. The other way around. That was awesome to see. The game is just getting better and better. Well, you knew she was going to come out of the gates firing as well too. That was your pick last week. You're like, Corby's going to come straight out and nail it, and she did exactly that. Yeah, I'd expect nothing less from Corby. Yeah, same. All right. Well, next up, we head to Wollongong for the Dragons and Eels. Both your side in the Eels and the Dragons, they're chasing their first 2 points. Looking at the Dragons first, you talked up Tyler Nathan-Wong last week and her partnership with Racey McGregor. With a game now under their belt, they're going to be a little bit more dangerous, aren't they? They are. They're going to be building, as are most other teams. Tyler Nathan-Wong got that try straight off the bat. What a debut. What a way to come onto the scene. Racey McGregor, I'd really like to see her get a bit more ball. I think I'm used to seeing Racy McGregor press the attack a lot more, which I didn't see her do so much. So that's going to be exciting. You can see that they've made changes in their second row. They've moved one of their wingers, Shanae Lindell, into the second row. And although she is a smaller body, you just cannot sleep on her as well. She is athletic, strong, fast, and you've got to be able to catch her.
Yeah. So that might help.
So yeah, the Dragons have a great lineup. They're going to be building every week, and I think that their core group, their forwards, are solid. They've got some really young forwards in their pack, which I've mentioned before, and I think that they're just going to get more and more confident and more fierce.
Yeah. Just hopefully not so much this weekend, though.
Yeah, hopefully they hold back a little bit this week.
All right, you've heard it here, so you've been told what to do. All right, over to your side, the Eels. What were your key takeaways, I guess, from last week, and then how do you amend them going into this week?
Yeah, I think most importantly is to recognise that we have a really young team. We had a huge number of debutants, as it were, and then when we had, you know, that little bit of a last-minute spin, losing Elsie and Rachel Pearson, who were the experience that was going to be on the field for us, we had some big asks of some of the girls. Jade Whenua, who moved from the middle out to the right side to replace Rachel Pearson on her debut game. Like, that was a huge ask of her, and I think that she did incredibly well. So we certainly took a lot of learnings away from that game, but there were also a lot of positives in the way that our young debutants stepped up. And they're only going to get more gelled as the season goes on. We know exactly what we need to implement. We've got a starting point, so it's looking positive.
Well, there's so many debutants this year, and because the teams have expanded into the 10 teams now, before it was kind of like we'd seen a lot of the players' faces before. They know their way around the field. We're seeing these young players come through and having to have that happen all at once. And normally it was like 1 or 2 debutants, but there's a good handful in every side.
Exactly, there is a good handful in every side, as you said. I think for us, it's just that the experienced heads that we were almost building our team dynamic around were the ones that we lost. So that made a big dent.
Yes, all right. Well, good luck in that one. Next game, we kick off the double header at Belmore, and it is the Knights and Cowboys. Defensively, both sides had an unfavourable missed tackle count as well too, but with Hannah Southwell, and we've also got our Super League recruit, Georgia Roche, both being named in this extended bench as well too, should shake up the dynamic a little bit.
It should. Like, we saw Yasmin Meeks have an outstanding game last week, and we saw Caitlin Johnson come back onto the field returning from an injury, and it looked like she did not miss a beat at all. Shanice Parker and Abigail Roach were outstanding. I think that they're 2 players who also don't get spoken about enough. They were solid on their edges, and they had so much to offer to the game as a whole. You had Caitlin Moran return to the game as well, and I thought that she did a couple of really outstanding things, really good game intelligence and management, and working well with Tamika as well. So, and Jessie Southwell,
which has gelled very quickly as well. And again, I'd expect nothing less when you're being guided around the field by someone like Tamika. But they certainly stood up to the plate. Where's that game won?
I think that Newcastle are great across the park. Cowboys are probably going to have to change the tempo, stay in the fight. And I think with the experience piece, that's where the challenge is. We found that as well as the Eels. It's that the tempo changes and you just got to stick in there. Well,
looking over the Cowboys, Ben Jeffries, on the side on paper last week, they were fairly new to the NRLW, but I mean, one of the women that are in there as well too, she needs little introduction when you speak about her on an international stage as well too. Autumn Rain Stevens-Daly.
Yeah, well, Autumn comes from a footy family. Like, I played with her mother. And I know that in the last few years she has also been playing with her mother, so she lives and breathes footy. The way that she approaches it is fearless, she is powerful, she is fast, and I'm really looking forward to seeing her return and the impact that she's going to make in this game. Emma Manselman, again, we did kind of flag her name last week, saying that more minutes for her is going to open up the game even more, and she was the first try scorer for the Cowboys. How amazing.
That's huge,
How amazing. So they've got some really big game changers in that team. If they capitalise on all of those players in all of those moments, they're going to meet the challenge. When
you say you played with Autumn and Autumn's mum, how similar are they on a footy field?
I think the attitude is very
Okay. All right.
but both are very talented football players, and they just love the game.
Yeah.
So I don't see their world without football at all.
Yeah, okay, well, she's got a few years left in her as well, too. All right, the final game for round two, I should say, for the NRLW Telstra Premiership, and the second game of the doubleheader at Belmore sees the West Tigers take on the Sharks, and both sides are having success in their first rounds. The West Tigers first, though, 9 players in this side who helped beat the Sharks in the Harvey Norman New South Wales Premiership Grand Final last year. Does that set the mood of what we might see in this game, or does it become a clean slate because there's a few different dynamics there?
I think it's a clean slate. Like, this team is playing very different to what that team played, and they're also finding their feet really fast. We saw how they played against the Sharks in their trial match, and then how they turned up against the Eels, and they were able to really build that momentum really fast. Sarah, she took the game to another level with her hard runs, and Boteel's return, she just opened up the game. So if you got players like that, the game is going to obviously go to the next level. Emma Tonegado, her slipping into that role was amazing. And Jada just stepped up to the plate as well. Like, her acceleration is just insane. I saw her get outside of Zahara a couple of times, so you know that they're really kind of drilling in on that hole there. So that's a really good slot for people to start thinking about filling.
How do you think when you see you've got the veteran, like we're looking at the Sharks from that point of view, you've got the veteran in Bo Vetti Welsh, and then you've got Jada Taylor matching up with her, who's a rookie, but we've seen so much fantastic footy from her already so far. Is it going to be a bit of a school, Mr. Miyagi, Danielson kind of session, or do you think?
I think they play in very different ways. Like, Bo is just a floater, and things seem to open up for her. I think, like, Jada kind of takes it to you, and she is just a relentless workhorse, and that's how things open up for her. And then her speed is the thing that really tops it off. So I think they play very different games. I'll probably just say different games.
Okay.
So,
all right, so we get to keep an eye on them. Let's not compare them. Let's watch them just play some beautiful football. Yeah, perfect. Well, first and foremost, it's Women in League round as well, too. This is the first time that the women have been playing during the Women in League round. What's that mean to you?
Look, I think the kickoff of the NRLW with the additional 4 teams, the amount of debutantes, the amount of mothers returning to the game, like, that was a moment in itself, and I think we're just kind of carrying it on into this week, and those emotions are going forward, and it's just making it even more of a special day. So yeah, it means a lot. It's a great representation of a lot of the things that past players have worked for, that administrations and everyone who's contributed to the game has put the work in for. So yeah, it's a really special moment.
Well, you've been an amazing contributor to the game so far in your Women League, and I know the journey is far from done. So thank you so much for everything you've done.
Thank you.
Real highlights, unreal action. It's all about to get very real this NRLW Premiership season. You can experience all the power on the field and passion in the stands as growing rivalries become epic contests. The NRL Women's Telstra Premiership is back in 2023. Secure your seats now at nrl.com/tickets.